We're up to the Meches, which is I'm going to wait at the Alter Rebbe.
What?
I'm going to wait at the Alter Rebbe.
Yeah, זה לא זה? מה עשיתי טעות עשיתי עוד הפעם? זה הספר השני שלי? זה השני?
זה לא שולחן ערוך של התלמוד. זה אולי משנה ברורה, אבל זה לא שולחן ערוך.
יש לי שניים, זהו, אני מתבלבל איתם כל הזמן, זה הלכות שבת.
י' בייז.
אני עכשיו הבנתי מה אני עשיתי.
I don't remember.
אני למדתי איתו בשבת רבי ואני שמתי אותו ליד השולחן שאני יושב.
No, I don't remember either.
אני לומד בשבת איתו, אז אני משאיר אותו ליד השולחן. וזה היה בספרייה.
Anybody remember?
I think he was finishing Chet. I didn't Chet to you.
זהו? חס? Okay, then let's do tests in the Alter Rebbe. A person who hired a guy, the Alter Rebbe.
244. Yeah.
244.9. A person who hired a guy for a year or two, that he should write for him or he should sew for him. Thank you very much. At any time, in the time of his hiring. כן. תודה. He's a scribe. He's hired to write. Or he's a tailor that's hired to sew. משהו דרך הסוהרים שיש להם ספר מיוחד, שכל זה לא בכל איש הצורך.
זה מועדת של הרבי.
הרבי רש"ב.
לא.
רש"ב.
רש"ב.
Amen. Just like the Sarim, the aristocrats, they used to have special scribes to write for them. When he doesn't need him, he doesn't do anything.
So it's going to be different if it was for 1 or 2 years or for a week or 2 weeks?
No.
It's just to be long term.
No difference.
So if you ever work as a work by your week, get started by your week. You're working with a weekly. The salary is for your week. You're paying $100 a week.
As long as he only has one job, which he can do at any time during the week.
Oh, it's only for one job?
Yeah. He only has to write or sew, and when he's finished his writing or his sewing, he can take it easy. He can take it easy. It's for, I'll give you an example. If you want to put it into modern day application, you hire somebody to manage your website. He has to do your website. A year or 2 years, a month, a week, a goy. Talking about a Jew, chas v'shalom. So he can manage it whenever he wants. He can do it at 1 in the morning. He can do it 1 in the afternoon. He can do it on Sunday. He can do it on Shabbos. He can do it on Wednesday. It makes no difference to you. But when he's finished, he can go to sleep. He doesn't have to do it at any specific time. It's not like he's your worker. He is your worker for a certain job. This is called a Kablan.
So can we apply this last week? I know somebody asked you about Amazon fulfillment. So they can fulfill the order on Shabbos because you pay them to fill up your order whenever the order is coming. They get fee for it. So can we apply this one for this concept or it's 2 different things?
My only issue with that is that here you're not telling him to do it on Shabbos at all.
You don't know what to do. You're just doing it automatically.
That's my question. So when they do it here on Shabbos, that's completely their choice. Nobody's forcing them. They could work double overtime on Friday and not do anything on Shabbos. They could work on Shabbos, not do anything on Sunday. Or they could do 5 hours each day. That's up to them. But the minute you tell them to do it on Shabbos is a problem. We're going to see more about that later. So that's the question. If it's an arrangement.
Because basically the order can come in and just fill it up.
Rebbe Rashab's birthday, the founder of Yosefat Yeshiva. Birthday.
The website's there.
You don't see the order coming in, you don't see the order being shipped. It's there. So it's going to be only Shachar Shabbat.
Schar Shabbos is something else we're going to discuss later. I don't think it's going to be Schar Shabbos. I don't think Schar Shabbos is going to be an issue, which is going to relate also to the lottery ticket.
Unless
I think you can start buying lottery tickets for Friday night.
unless
I think you can. That's my understanding.
look at that, Rabbi.
That's my understanding. But kids, we'll talk about that later. What I wanted to say, my issue is, if you have a deal with Amazon, that when an order comes into your website, it goes straight to Amazon. So if Amazon has to do it within a certain number of hours, and those hours come out on Shabbos, meaning to say, an order comes in Shabbos morning, the Amazon has to fulfill it within 5 hours, 10 hours, whatever, and it's all within Shabbos, then I'm not sure it's allowed.
Officially, even if it's come on Shabbos, you don't have to fill it up until like actually Monday because there's no shipping until Monday.
Okay, so that's something else. If they don't have to do it on Shabbos, then it's a regular Kablanus.
Yes.
Then it's a regular Kablanus. They can do whatever they want. If it's a type of situation, Amazon Prime, I don't know. If it's a type of situation. I don't know.
Rabbi, let's say let's say you order. Yes, but if you order on
I don't
Friday,
know. I see Amazon. I do see some
Rabbi,
trucks delivering even on Sunday. I see them,
Rabbi,
especially on the holiday season.
Maybe, but this was the one that catch up because it was.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
if we order on Friday and we say overnight, so it's for sure Shabbat. Period.
You can't order in such a way that you're telling them to do it on Shabbat.
Thursday, on Wednesday. On
So the kitzur, that's the thing. I'm just saying, if the order comes in and Amazon has to fulfill it on Shabbos according to your specifications, I think it's a problem. But if they don't have to, they choose to, then it's okay. That's that's simple. If there's another heter, I don't know. That's simple. This is just simple.
I asked you this last week, so I'm answering that last week.
Right.
So
This is my simple answer. Okay, we are, by the way, those that have just joined us from wherever you are, we are in Reish Mem Dalet Tes 244.9, and we're also saying L'chaim, by the way. With the Alter Rebbe, yeah. And Reish Mem Dalet Tes 244.9. Also saying L'chaim for the Rebbe Rasha. Yeah, go ahead.
This year, when we say like it's have to be this, not have to be higher for one specific malach.
Yes, as opposed to all malachas. If he's hired to do all malachas, then he's a regular schir yom. Then he's a regular worker. One second, let me explain. Why is he a regular worker? Because a person who has to do any malacha, he's working for you, whatever you need. He's never finished. Even if clean the chairs, set up the chairs, do this, do that, do that. He's never finished his work, so he can't be called a kablan. He's not contracted. He is your worker. But if it's a specific job and the job has an end to it, which he could do when he wants on his own schedule, then he's called a kablan. Yes.
What about clean? clean. Let's say the job is to clean. To keep the place clean.
I mean, the issue is that's going to be in your rishus, so that's never going to be allowed. I mean, cleaning is not necessarily a malacha. That's another issue. That's a separate thing. But if it's a malacha type of cleaning, if it's to wash your clothes, for example, it's not going to help.
So this if they're talking about, let's say, about writing or to the tailor, have to be
in his own house.
In his own place.
Exactly.
Not in your place.
Exactly. He takes the work home with him. Takes the work home.
Like a big, let's say, I don't know, house, and you have one room that dedicated to this worker. And you live over there. That doesn't.
I mean, it's not enough for him to live over there. It would have to be his domain. That means it's not exactly. It's not that you let him live in your house. It's that it becomes his domain. He has an arrangement with you, financial arrangement. This house is his. You can't kick him out.
This part of his,
yeah, but it has to be his, not that he has a place to live in your house. You understand? It has to be his room. That means it's in a rental agreement. He has it for a month. He has it for something. Not just that while he's working.
No. You live in this part of his arrangement that you've been out for a year, but this room is part of your yearly salary.
It would seem if he has his own quarters and that's the contract that it's his, it would seem. I don't see why not.
Setting up the show with chairs and moving the tables and
that's not malacha.
That's not a malacha at all.
Not at all. A Jew can do it. Why not? Thank you. A Jew can do it. Why not?
Something interesting. I found a company that they say Shabbos mode, so they on Shabbos and Yom Tov they will take your eBay, Amazon, everything, they will switch it off, and then after switch it off every Shabbos. So they know how to do it.
They take care of your Shabbos issues. Very interesting.
ShabbosMode.com. ShabbosMode.com.
Interesting.
And Amazon fulfillment, it, you cannot turn it off, so they put all the inventory in zero.
So they can't order.
And then they put it back. I mean, whatever.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Rishon Dalet. We're in the Alter Rebbe. Alter Rebbe tests. So the point is, you're allowed to let him work for you on Shabbos. This is a fellow who is hired to do all your tailoring or all your writing or whatever. You told him before Shabbos. Can't tell him to do it on Shabbos. In addition, he cannot do it in the Jewish home. Why? Now he explains. There's no benefit to the Jew from the fact that it's done on Shabbos. If he doesn't do it on Shabbos, do it on Sunday. Even if he personally needs it on Shabbos right away, that's not called revach. That's just a benefit. He'll use it right away. But he would have had the revach anyway. He would have still had it. He just wouldn't have to be able to use it. The example when it's a problem, we're going to see it in Reish Nun Beis, is when you need it right away after Shabbos, and if you don't get it after Shabbos, you have no use for it. Then it's going to be a problem. I don't want it. Thank you. If that's the case, so then it's called you're benefiting from Shabbos, and that's going to be a problem, as we're going to see. So for an example of that would be, if you have a wedding, and he's making a suit for your wedding, and you are flying out on Motzei Shabbos. Hopefully not an Elal flight, because like we said last time, we're going to have to prepare it on Shabbos. You're flying out on a different airline, Motzei Shabbos. So on the way to the airport, you want to stop by and pick up your suit. And you gave it in on Friday afternoon. you didn't tell him that you need it. No, I don't want. Thank you very much. For you, Bakasha. You didn't tell him that you need it right after Shabbos. To tell him you need it right after Shabbos is also regardless of your flight, because that's like telling him to work on Shabbos. You didn't tell him.
He doesn't have time.
He doesn't have no, exactly. You gave it to him right before Shabbos, and you want to pick it up, but you didn't tell him. Because if you told him, it's also regardless of flights, just because telling him is like asking him to do it on Shabbos. But you know that he works quickly because you have experience with him, and you're hoping that he gets it ready, and you're going to pick it up after Shabbos.
So we can't finish Rosh
I don't know.
But if you didn't give
I don't know.
time, you said that it's not part, you're not allowed.
No, I'm
So
talking
there's not
about.
enough Friday to do it.
Takshib.
Question.
Now, 1 second. I'm talking about a case where you gave it on Friday, right before Shabbos, and you didn't tell him that you need it right after Shabbos. So he can choose to do it when he wants. So in that case, if you don't need it Matzah Shabbos, then you can get it Matzah Shabbos. Because it's not considered that you got benefit from the fact they did it on Shabbos. And you didn't tell him to do it on Shabbos. But if you dafka need it on Matzah Shabbos, that's the only way you're going to use it. I'm talking about in this particular case, you're going for a wedding or whatever, and this is when you need it. So then, even though you didn't tell him to benefit, to make it on Shabbos, you are benefiting from the fact that they did it on Shabbos, only because you did it on Shabbos. That's a problem.
This is gonna be ready. You didn't tell him.
In a Hanami, maybe it won't be. But if it is, you can't use it anyway.
You can
Yes.
use it anyways for the wedding if the guy comes and delivers it to your suit, wrapping suit to you.
Not if you gave it right before Shabbos and he had no time to do it on Friday or Motzei Shabbos, and you need it right after Shabbos. That's the particular case where it's also because you're getting revach, you're getting benefit specifically from the way it's done on Shabbos.
It's allowed. Does anyone say it's allowed?
I don't know.
That's not even Kutu said that it was allowed.
I don't know because it's Reish Nun Beis. He's referencing Reish Nun Beis, and when we get there, we'll see other opinions. So I'm not sure. Also, if you make a profit from the fact that it's made on Shabbos, that's also a problem, like we explained.
I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding you're staying in a hotel and room service in the room that you're staying in.
Yeah.
Is that issue? Is an issue? Is that?
No.
Because they do
Because
it for
the whole
everybody.
thing is for everybody. Exactly. So
Yeah.
you tell me beforehand not to vacuum the floor and things like that.
No.
They're doing it for everybody.
No.
And it's part of what they do.
Even if it's like they're giving you fresh laundry things this morning.
So there's a few issues. First of all, the vacuuming. I mean, whatever. They're cleaning your room. They don't have to clean it in a forbidden way, like we said. They could clean it in different ways. They're choosing to do it in a forbidden way. They're choosing to use a vacuum cleaner. They could have used a carpet sweeper.
Do they change your sheets every day?
Now they're environmentally friendly, so that means they don't use extra energy and whatever. So they only do it like every 3 days or something. So, but changing sheets. I don't know about all hotels. I don't know. But the point is, even when they change your sheets, what are they doing for you? They're changing sheets. What's the malach in changing sheets?
No.
They're washing it. They're not washing your sheets specifically. They're taking the sheets, they're putting them on a big thing, and they're sending them to the service, which is doing it for the whole hotel, which is mostly non-Jewish people. And by the time you get that sheet back, you're not even there. You know what I'm saying? It's not for you. Okay. Mamed Ramamom Ksenia Yisrael Makbinim Klalim or Yoshevu Batlach Shetziva Loishalas Samalacha Alavialas Esbacholish Yirtza Fikach Shoysa Shabbos Adas Asman Yosef Lim Machmas Yisrael. I'm just going to read the Hebrew through. Avalam Makbinim El Bitula or Yosef Shabbos Machmas Yisrael. The Fikach Sorach Ulemar Loishalayas Shabbos Machbakinu Oysa and Sochlam Chasbior Shadas Asman Oysa. When is a license granted? When the Jewish employer does not at all object if the scribe remains idle after it commands him to perform a task, but leaves him the option to perform whatever he desires. Such an instance, when he's working on Shabbos, he's working on his own initiative, not because of the Jewish employer. If the Jewish employer objects to his remaining idle, then when the scribe works on Shabbos, he's working because of the Jewish employer. Okay, so in the case where he gave him work to do, In order for it to be allowed, to allow him to do it on Shabbos, you can't get angry when he doesn't work. You understand? You gave your website designer instruction. You want whatever. You want this refixed up, revamped, whatever it is.
By a certain day.
Whatever. But if you see that he's not doing it right away and you get angry at him, then you can't tell him to do it before Shabbos. Because you're basically telling him to do it right away. In order to be allowed to tell him to do it right before Shabbos, you have to, in general, give him the option to do it when he wants. I mean, if you tell him a few hours before and he could do it before, that's something else. But if in general, you once you tell him something, you expect him to do it right away, then you cannot tell him in such a way that he's going to end up doing it on Shabbos because he's basically doing it for you. Therefore, the Jewish employer must instruct the non-Jewish worker to not perform the task on Shabbos. In other words, in order to get out of that problem, you could tell him on Friday afternoon, listen here, I do need this job done, but a Shabbos is coming. So don't do it on Shabbos, do it on Sunday. I'm just telling you now because I don't want to forget, whatever. Do it on Saturday night.
And when he does, it's okay.
So then he can actually do it on Shabbos too, because now you specifically gave him permission to not do it on Shabbos. And like we said, it's not on your property, whatever. He's a Kablanus, he's not your worker, he's just doing specific jobs. So then you tell him he doesn't have to do it on Shabbos, and then he does it when he wants.
What's happening if he listens to you? He doesn't do it on Shabbat.
Okay, sure.
You upset him Sunday.
If you're upset, then you ruin the whole thing. You can never do it in the future. You have to be a man of your word. Okay. וכל זה י"א, וכל זה כשאין אנוכי מושכלוי אלא למלאכות מיוחדות, כגון לכתוב ולהרג בכל שיצטרך, ואחר שגמר מלאכה ישב ובטל. This is what I was saying before, that the reason he's a Kablan is because he's only doing certain types of work. That's what makes him a contract. And when he's finished the job, he takes it easy. But if you hire him to do whatever you need, he's your butler, he's your gopher, whatever they call people who do whatever job you need. Now, when he does work for you on Shabbos, you're benefiting, because now, after Shabbos, he'll be available to do other things. When his only thing is sewing, so you're not benefiting, because after Shabbos, there's nothing else to do. Big deal. So he did it on Shabbos. What's the difference? Shabbos, Sunday. But over here, he works for you on Shabbos. You'll be able to use him more on Sunday. So when he works for you on Shabbos, you're benefiting from the specific Shabbos work. You can't say, well, the guy, he's doing it for a salary. He's doing it for you. He's doing it for a salary. Because the fact is that even if he doesn't work on Shabbos, he is not going to take any, he's not going to diminish his payment at all.
Missing one for the minyan.
We'll get there, Bezat Hashem.
Right? Out of it. Right?
Okay, so I see in the note 43 is what I thought he was going to say. Note 43 says a different vart. Note 43 says when he is in Sif Aleph. Note 43 in the English. You don't have it there. But in the Hebrew, I'm sure he has it there also.
Which safe on the no?
Depends on whatever
You
he
know
is,
it, right?
prohibited then.
You didn't prohibit.
Okay, in Samach Tes, in Sif Samach Tes, in Hara Samach Tes in the Hebrew, he points out that according to Madur Basa, there's a different reason. Samach Tes, Hara Samach Tes, he just I'm in Sif Yud Aleph of Reish Mem Dalet. So Hara Samach Tes points out that there's a different reason given in the Madur Basra for this same halacha. The reason given there is that a person who is sochel l'chol malachas, who is hired to do all types of work, is considered a schir yoim. He's not considered a kablan. That is defined as a schir yoim, which is why it's strict.
Because he's doing many jobs.
Because he's doing whatever you need him to do. So a kablan is defined as a contractor who has a specific job. He finishes that job and he's done. But a schir yoim is a worker, regular worker. He's hired by the hour. So. ויש מתאים גם בזה, לפי שאנחנו אין המיילה על דייטה שהישראל אין מכריחה לסס בשבס. I don't know. שלא ינקה לכלום מסחרי. אף אם לא יעשה כלום בשבס, לא עושה מאלו ותומה להשלם קבלנוס, שקיבל לו בתחיל סחירוסי, לסקל מלאכה שסחר לישראל בחומש למען סחירוסי, ישעשלם כל סחרי משלם ודי לעולב שם תרמוס, ונסמך לסורה זו, כי אם נדלקם שם הפסד כמו שיסבור בסימן, Okay, I'm not going to get into that opinion.
So basically, we're not allowed to let him do it if it's
if he's sochel l'chol malachas, he cannot do malacha for you, even on his own, even in his own space. Even in his own space.
If you pay him daily, sachir, but if he's going and doing all the melachot, it's kablan. He can be self-employed.
Here's what comes out. From what we're saying here. A worker who is paid by the hour. Yes, paid by the hour. It's not like they have any specific job that they finish and they're done. They're paid by the hour. They cannot do work for you, even on Shabbos, even if it's their own decision and even if it's in their own home.
Where do we learn even in their own home?
That's the whole chiddush of Yud Aleph. Because Yud Aleph,
where we're learning it from the Seif.
because the whole Seif is talking about his own home. Because if it's in your home, it's also even with the Kablan. The previous Seif we're talking in his home. Because in your home, it's us even with a kablan. So here the point is, even in his home, if he's not a kablan, if he's sochel l'chol malachas, then it's usher regardless. That's the whole point. Now, of course, you may never know. But if you do find out, you have to stop them.
But if you don't know, you did something weird and you took it and you enjoyed it, and then you find out it actually did on Shabbos. So
what do you mean? You took what and you enjoyed what? What do you mean?
He had to do something. He didn't have to do it on Shabbos, but ended up doing it on Shabbos. I don't know, to bid you something, whatever. And then he gave it to you after Shabbos. You used it if you're enjoying it. And then you find out it actually put together on Shabbos. So you shouldn't allow to continue enjoying it.
I mean, you're talking about a schir yoim. We're talking about a schir yoim here.
This is the one that is given by...
A guy who is a schir yoim.
Yeah.
Schir yoim.
And he did on his own. He didn't tell him anything. He went to his house and he put whatever things that he bought before Shabbos, he put together for you. Because he wanted to save time for after. And he brought it back on Sunday. And he's using it...
On Sunday... On Sunday, as long as there was time after Shabbos to do it, you can have benefit from it even lachatchila.
But he did it on Shabbos.
Doesn't make a difference. As long as there's time for him to do it after Shabbos, you can benefit from it even lachatchila. Remember, you didn't do anything wrong until you find out that he's working for you, and you weren't moicha. If you don't know a schir yom that's working for you on Shabbos, you didn't tell him to. And you don't know, you didn't do any Aveira. You didn't do any Aveira. You didn't do any Aveira because you didn't tell him to. Now, when you find out and you let him, so that's a problem because he's a schir yom.
Let's ask.
The point is,
Let's ask.
no, let's not. A second, I'm in the middle. When it comes to a person who does something for you, even if he's not a schir yom or a kablan, if he does something for you in a way that you're going to benefit, then you can benefit right away after Shabbos, regardless of a schir yom. A guy cooks for you. A guy turns on a light for you. A guy makes whatever. You can't benefit anyway. That's a separate issue, regardless of schir yom. Anything that a person does for you, you can't benefit from it right away until after Shabbos. Here we're talking about exactly. Here we're talking about he's writing a book. You're not going to read the book till whenever, or you're not even going to read it yourself. You're selling it or whatever. It's not an immediate bodily benefit. If it's a bodily benefit, you can't benefit regardless of a schir yom or a kabbalah.
Is there anything that that have to benefit forever from besides what we learned last week?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Just a house that he built. A house that he built, and we're going to see later a grave, if he digs a grave for a Jew, perhaps.
About Christian.
Yeah.
He finished Shabbat job on his own. So he's bringing it to you. Are you paying for that time for Shabbat?
I don't ever go, so I don't know.
No. You're asking if you enjoy that.
You pay for by the week.
Yeah, are you paying for him? He worked for Shabbat.
You're paying for the week, for 7 days.
But he is spending time on Shabbat. He wanted to get money for that. You pay him salary. So if you're allowed to pay him or not, Rabbi, on Shabbat you don't know to pay him. I guess.
It's interesting, Shaila.
You're paying good for it.
No. He spent time on Shabbat. He want that time in his pocket. His salary. No. Then he has no benefit to do it on Shabbat.
You know what's the weeklies?
Yes, Sunday to Friday.
Sunday to Sunday.
He worked for you on Shabbat. It doesn't matter about the benefit or not. You pay him for the Shabbat at the time. Right, Rabbi?
I don't think you can pay him for Shabbos. If he did, let's say he did work, he clocked in work, and he did it on Shabbos, I don't think you can pay him, because then you are making that work be that he's working for you.
Yeah.
The question is, so I could get this, is that you cannot have a guy come and work during Shabbos for you because you're going to benefit from it. But what if you?
What do you mean you're going to benefit from?
Meaning you're going to benefit from this guy doing this certain job, a labor, and that's Isra. There's an Isra on that.
If your body is going to benefit, like something you're going to eat or something you're going to wear or something you're going to use, you can't benefit regardless of whether he's your worker or not, because that's a separate issue, because you may tell him to do it on Shabbos. We're going to learn more about that later. Here we're talking about you're not getting a physical benefit from this. He's your worker. He's sewing clothes. He's writing stuff.
So taking out the garbage, like a construction, according to Yosef, for example, it's allowed. If you pay, for example, if you say, okay, take out the construction's pile of rubble, and you don't specify not to come Friday, and he still comes. And you
That's
pay him
not simple. That's not simple. And any kablan on your property is not simple, because there's a problem of marasayin, that people might think that he's a worker by the hour instead of a kablan. So there are some that are lenient. We said that in the case of removing garbage, and I'm sorry. The example is given that there are some communities that are lenient, that they allow the goyim to come remove garbage on Shabbos, or garbage collectors, so they're carrying on Shabbos.
That was the Tosfos?
No, that was not Rabbeinu Tam. That was not Rabbeinu Tam. That's a much later. That's a much later phenomena.
Is it because of the Talmud? What's the
What's the header?
The heter was that it was meforsim, that it was done with Kablanus.
Meaning everyone knows.
Yeah.
There's no
Exactly,
mixing
exactly.
it up with what's the Shas mixing it up with?
Schir Yom.
Oh, it's very-
Or you also might forget and tell him to do it before. If he was on your property, you may tell him, hey, don't forget that. You know what I'm saying? That's another example. You may actually, sorry?
That's not allowed.
You can never tell him to do work on Shabbos beferish. Whatever he does, he does.
Why
But
is
you can't.
thinking of garbage, why is this a speaking?
If there's no air, he's carrying.
You're not allowed to tell a boy to carry something for you?
There's no air, that's a malacha.
Don't they tell kids to carry things?
What?
Maybe there is an error. Maybe that's what they do.
If there is an air, fine.
Don't hold it there?
Yeah, some people are not recognizing carrying it.
If there's an air and you don't use it and you tell a kid, it's one thing. But if there's no air, can't it's malacha like any other malacha. It's one of the 39 malachas.
The Kabbalah is not a property, but it's using your tools.
We are going to learn about that. I believe in Reish Nun Beis that if he uses your tools, I believe you have to stop him.
Reish Nun Beis?
Reish Nun Beis. That you, I believe you have to stop him. He's using your tools. Otherwise, it looks like he's your shaliach. I don't know. The Magen Avraham brings it down about the Nachem Kablanus, and I don't know what it's based on. I don't know if it's one of the Rishonim.
When you said it's meaning he's allowed to do that?
He holds that he brings down that minhag.
It's a minhag. It's so he can the guy can do whatever he wants. He said. In other words.
No, the goy can do a thing that is well known that is done with Kablanus. Well known to be done with Kablanus.
Like the cut the grass. It's known. It's Kablanus.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's a known job that is a kablanus, then you get to.
I mean, most gardeners are
Yes,
Kablanus.
of course.
How many gardeners are paid by the hour?
None.
I mean, most gardeners, you.
Oh no, I thought Kablanus was the whole. You're paying for like the whole service.
You are, but there's different ways
So
of
like
breaking some out.
monthly or whatever. So, It's not and- for whatever he's however long it takes.
However long it takes
So
to finish the job, yeah.
Probably my neighbor is going by this one and he's let the
No.
whatever he wants.
No,
So he's let the guy cut his grass.
no,
Unless I'm planning now to go to his home to knock at the door.
no. No, it's not acceptable.
If the gardener starts,
It's not acceptable. I just want to explain. This is a minhag that they had in some places, and some people had a limud schus. They said, "Oh, it's not so bad. There's an opinion, but you can't make up a new minhag based on this." You understand?
So it's still not allowed.
It's not allowed. Not allowed. Unless a place has the minhag, you don't have to stop them, but you can't start a new minhag based on this opinion.
the gardener could start planting plants, watering the grass. I mean, it becomes a whole situation.
Well, you're not allowed to let them. What do you mean?
Exactly. So allow them to come and cut the grass.
So he said, no.
No, you can't. You can't. But I'm saying, but even if you would do that, that's still kablanus. Still kablanus. The fact is, whatever he's doing, he's paid to maintain your garden. He's not paid by the hour. He's not paid by the day. He's not paid by the month. You understand? He's paid to maintain your garden. So whether he's planting or cutting or watering, it's all included in kablanus. It's still only a maras ayin issue. It's never an actual isser unless you tell him to do it on Shabbos.
So do I understand, Rabbi? If you live in a neighbor for all Jewish, you should not do it. If you live in only one and a lot of goys, it doesn't matter because it's a minhag.
No, you're never allowed to let him do any work on your property on Shabbos.
As I said, if it's a minhag in the neighbor.
There is no such minhag.
No, I mean like it's
There was a minhag in Europe in some places that let the goyim collect the garbage.
like in he says that even from Maras Ayin, that's not an issue. I mean that's this.
Let me see.
Right here.
In Hebrew. And the second.
ברחוב לפני פתח הבית.
I mean, it's a local understanding that it's a Kablanus.
ברחוב לפני פתח הבית. It's not on your property.
But it's the Yid that's actually told him, he didn't specify.
It's not on your property. It's not on your property.
He's starting from the Rehov to cut the grass, and then he's sliding in.
No, he's not gonna throw away the garbage.
It's not on your property.
It's on the
Garbage.
But it's not on your property.
outside.
ונעשה לו תלפה ברחוב לפני פתח הבית. It's not on your property.
But still, the Jews actually telling him to do the job.
But he's not telling him to do it on
So it's like,
Shabbos.
for example, that's for a community, for example.
He's not telling him to do it on Shabbos.
It's outside of your property. It's the Rehov, on the street. Like
Okay.
doing a dumpster.
The main dumpster.
Yes, it's a popcorn.
Okay, we are going to continue with the Machaber. I think it's Hay before we do the Alter Rebbe Yud Beis. No, sorry, it is Vav in Reish Mem Daled in the Machaber.
Yehudi,
Yehudi HaKoyne Meches. It's very quiet over in London and, oh, it's not so quiet. Yaakov says, L'chaim, and he says, how does this work in practice? For example, in the case that a non-Jew is employed by a firm hotel to do both malacha and non-malacha work, since he's a schir socher l'chol malachas, can he do things like open a hotel, electronic door for the guests or employer? No, I'm reading Yaakov's question. So there's no real hiring of a Shabbos good, correct, as a general position. Okay, so let's talk about this case, for example. You have a Goyish worker in a firm hotel, and his job includes some malachas and some non-malachas. So are you allowed to let him do malachas on Shabbos in the course of his job? In the course of his job, he's an employee. Are you allowed to let him do malacha?
Lord, anything is not allowed to Jew, it doesn't allow to go.
You're not telling him, but it's part of his job. You're not telling him specifically, but it's part of his job.
It's an instrument because it's still.
Whatever he does during the week is part of what he does in Shabbos. So, I mean, this is different than when you're staying in a hotel and you, for example, tell the guy, I can't get into my room.
Right.
This key, whatever, I can't get into my room. So there, he's not working for you. He's working for the hotel. And let's say it's the hotel's job to get you into the room. And you're not telling him, you're hinting him, he opens it, whatever. But here his employer is Jewish. Understand? That's his question. That's Yaakov's question. The employer is Jewish. So when he does these things, he's doing it as part of his job. He's opening the doors from people that need it. But he's in what capacity is he doing that? He's doing that for his employers. So that's an interesting shaila.
That's Israel.
How do they get around
Hotels
it?
in Israel.
How do they get around it?
They put cross in his.
Maybe they have a partnership. Maybe it's not entirely a Jew who's running the program.
I mean, that is an option. If you have a non-Jew, that's a shutuf with you, and they are the owners on Shabbos, you make the partnership, you arrange it in such a way that they are the owners on Shabbos, that takes care of everything, basically, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I had that. We went to a Pesach program once, and they had the Shabbos goys. I'm just saying, we went to a Pesach program once, and they had the Shabbos goys. They were dressed up specially, and they would go around and open the rooms for you, or do whatever needed to be done. That was their job.
What he said, all right?
He said he was at a Pesach program, and there was a Shabbos guy who went around opening doors for people. And that was his job.
Yeah, but the owner of the hotel, the Shabbos program may not be doing.
That's true. That's true. The hotel owner may not be Jewish.
Right, that's what this is.
And the Pesach program is renting from the hotel. So maybe he's working for the hotel.
That's exactly, yeah. Oh, maybe that's true, it wasn't a Jewish hotel, it was just a.
Right. So the Pesach program was renting from the hotel, and he could have been working for the hotel.
You're still hiring the guy to do a malacha.
You're not hiring the guy.
Maybe
No,
the
he's
hotel's
not
hiring
hiring.
He just opens the door for what's the
Part of
purpose
his
of him?
job, it's his benefit.
No, if he's working for the hotel, his job is to take care of
Yes.
the guests.
The malacha.
No, but he's working for a non-Jew. I'm talking about a
A
non-Jew.
person that's not, also hotel owner is not.
If the hotel owner is not Jewish.
Right, the issue is like
Let's say
Israel.
let's say you found a
I'm sure they had it worked out because they had some very high-profile speakers there.
I hope they had it worked out.
If he
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
work for anybody, it's a problem.
He doesn't work for anybody?
Yeah, you just call a guy over to help you open the door.
Neighborhood.
Another guest, let's say, who's a goy.
Neighborhood. I've been neighbor.
I think that could be a problem
So here's the thing. When it comes to
because of benefit. I know.
So when it comes to having a guy do work for you that is not your worker, stam, your neighbor, you know what I mean, your local Shabbos guy. So in general, you can't say it to them. You can have them figure it out. You know, you tell them, you know, what you need, but you can't say that you want them to do it or whatever. But at the same time, you can't get a bodily benefit from it. So
He's not getting any benefit from it.
that's not it's a hard question. It's a hard question. See, if he's working for the hotel, so then that's part of the job of the hotel is to get you into the room. You could say it's part of his no, you still can't tell him. You can never tell a guy to do work for you on Shabbos, but you could say I can't get into my room. And
the whole thing where I was saying that you're allowed to tell the guy to come open your door.
no. I'm saying I can't get in, and he figures it out. But if
That's in general. Why can't you do a regular one?
I don't know if it's so simple, because a regular guy is doing it for you.
Do it for you, not for the hotel.
He's doing it for you. You're getting an immediate benefit. Not simple.
That makes sense.
Not simple. I don't have an easy answer for that.
You can't tell a guy rabbis
To do something for you that gives you a bodily benefit.
But you have to
Oh,
have
no,
an
it's not,
issue.
no, that would be a problem, because you can't say to a guy,
It's open majority.
and you get up to my floor. You're carrying me on your back or putting me in an elevator, it's not a lot. But, if you say, can you get something from my room, it's a secret, no? Can you get something in my room? I need a little bit of help in my room. And the guy goes and puts the card in and walks in.
But there's still the Hanai.
No, but it's obsecration. You're not telling him to
You're
open
not
the
telling him
door.
to open the door, you're telling him to get something.
Something else.
Yeah,
No, it's allowed. I need help changing my bed.
exactly. That's allowed.
There is a discussion about something very similar coming up in Reish, I think it's Reish Ayin Vav, where it talks about where you tell the guy, come with me. You want light in a certain room.
You go get a jacket from the room and then you.
Exactly. Can you go get me something from the room? And the guy goes in there, it's dark, can't see anything.
His benefit.
So he turns the lights on.
You
So
stand-
it's your benefit,
jacket
it's
is
for
turn
your
the lights on,
Don't
benefit.
turn out, and then he
And then you tell him not to turn it off. That you're allowed to say.
Not to turn it off.
You're always allowed to tell him not to turn it off, because you just tell him not to do a work. So if I'm not mistaken, it says over there that if you go with him, then you can't let him turn on the light, because he's doing it mamish for you. You're standing there. But if you send
You're
him,
gonna find it.
I'm just telling the theory, I'm pretty sure. If you send him and he turns on the light himself, then you could come running in and tell him not to
What's
turn
the
it on.
difference? If he did it for him.
I understand, but
So-
when you're standing there, he's doing it because you want him to do it. It's
So-
like more directly.
So here you go
I
to
don't
my
remember.
question for next
I
week.
don't remember. I have to look. Well, we'll learn it. It's in the Reish Ayin Vav.
Here is my question for next week. The guy is working in a synagogue every day. Every day he's going inside the shul make sure all the chairs is around, everything is done.
Yeah, so far so good.
So if he's going on Shabbat morning, he turns the light to make everything ready. So he can do that.
That's a good idea, yeah.
So this
That's
is a
good
theory.
idea.
What was that?
If the guy turns on the light in the morning because he wants to
Make a
have
ritual.
light while he's
Everything
tidying,
is white and
he's allowed to tidy, and he's doing it for himself to tidy in the shul.
so this is a terror.
Maybe,
Wow, I just find a terror for Hashem.
maybe.
Ask him your bed.
What's the problem? Watch off from shore.
If it did.
If though.
So it was a problem because
If it did.
go to turn the light on Shabbat.
Yeah, but he still can't do it for you. You're saying in a case where he also uses it for himself,
Yes.
but that's only if he does, not if he doesn't.
Yes, it's
No,
part of
if
the
it-
job.
if
It
it-
must be part
Turning
of
on
the
the
job.
light can't be part of his job.
I understand that.
If tidying is part of his job and he turns it on to be able to do it, that's something else.
1 minute.
But that's no different than the other case.
Right.
that we're talking about.
Which other case?
Where if he's gonna go into a room to get something and because.
Yeah, but I think if you're not standing there, I think it is okay. And I'm pretty sure that it should be the same thing here.
So Goy, let's say a very Mesider shul, they want every day the Goy comes in at 10 o'clock at night, cleans up, shuts off all the lights, and comes back. Well, it really wouldn't work like that. Well, I don't know if my example works, but if by chance the guy has to come back in the morning and turn on all the lights.
If that's his job, you can't do it. If it's on the schedule of things to do is turn on the lights, then your mom is telling him to do it. Whether you told him today or 10 years ago when he started working, it's the
But if
same.
you tell them that your job is to save electricity, please come after davening, shut the lights off, and come in the morning and put the lights on. You talk to your girl, just be sure to be the 7.
No,
Can't do it.
No, only why
Can't do it.
my eter.
Yours is not ether.
Ask the rabbi.
No,
Ask the rabbi. Yes, this is a
You
terror.
can't just tell them, go
I think so.
Yes.
put the chair in place and put the lights on.
It's a terror. It's a terror.
It's not
Come and do it.
Ask the rabbi again.
I just want to answer Yaakov's question. Yaakov's question. Yaakov Boyd. He's asking, he's on the computer. Hopefully you'll meet him. Yaakov Boyd.
Boy, back.
He's back on the computer. When his wife has a baby, Mr. Shem, she'll tell him Mutzlachas, and everything
Amen.
comes down. Then I'll come down. I'll come back, Mr. Shem. So he's asking if there's such a thing as a Shabbos goy. So the Kitzer,
Shabbat goy.
is there such a thing as a Shabbos goy? So there are some cases that a Shabbos goy is allowed to do actual malacha for you. The original Shabbos goy was in cold countries where they needed a goy to light the heating oven
But it
on
works for
Shabbos.
everybody, not just for you.
Okay, that doesn't make a difference. That doesn't matter.
Otherwise,
It works for
it work for you.
That doesn't make a difference. He works for everybody because it saves money.
It's even worse.
It works for everybody because it saves money. Why should you employ one person per house? The point is that it was considered dangerous to be too cold. Choyle, it's a choyle. I call choyle makes al-sina. So he could light the fire. That was the original Shabbos goy, which is allowed. But then, there were add-ons that were problematic and still are problematic. But that is the classic case of the
So wait,
Shabbos.
let me ask you. So you can pick up your Goyish neighbor. Every week you give him $10, like this. Every day I give you just in case even for Shabbos you come.
Come to do what?
I need something. Shabbos goy.
Like what?
What? I told you, the original Shabbos goy,
No, things that are allowed.
things that are allowed.
Yeah, things that are allowed.
Allowed?
You gotta pay him for your Shabbos.
Why
When you
not?
come and do things that are allowed.
Just
Things
in
that are
case-
allowed?
No.
Why not?
Not every Shabbos you're going to have to come, but just in case, it's in 5 March or not, but
Things that are allowed.
it's for Shabbos goy.
Have a guy.
If it's allowed things,
He
why
hiding
not?
something, Rabbi. Yeah, he hiding something.
Is he allowed to pay him $10?
Why not?
Come every Shabbos.
If he's allowed, if there are things
No,
that are
no, it
allowed,
sounds like he's paying for Shabbos. Come to my house on Shabbos.
as long as there are things that are allowed, I don't understand what the
I'm allowed
problem
to
is.
pay a cleaning lady to come to my house and do things that are allowed just for Shabbos.
It's a machlokes. If schar Shabbos applies to paying or to being paid. Some,
She allowed to squeeze
Let's say I
the
have a lady come on Saturday
the towel?
morning from 12 to 5.
it's better to pay them b'havla. If you can, it's better to
Meaning if-
have them work during the week.
Another time
But some are matter even on Shabbos itself, as long as it's.
People are working
Yeah.
The guy allowed to squeeze the towel.
Working yourself. I'm working.
Too many questions.
No, yeah. This is your.
I have a question really about Din Cholet. If someone knows he's gonna get sick, let's say for example, he's sweating, he has the fan is on, so is he allowed to go tell the goy? He knows if the fan stays on, he's gonna get sick. Is he allowed to go tell the goy? He's not sick yet to go tell the goy, so he won't get sick because he knows every time this happens, he sweats up and then the fan's on.
He's allowed. You can prevent a choli just like you can treat it. Yaakov is saying perhaps, but largely that's a resolvable doubt, my assumption, because otherwise it would be mevatel the whole idea of amir l'nacher. Anyone could be injured in theory. There could be a doubt altogether. The worker at the hotel is Jewish or if it's a guy. Well, you have to find out. Okay. Bekitzer, here we are. Seif Vav Hakoina Yodi Hakoina Meches. A Jew who is buying a meches. Reish Mem Dalet Sivav in the Mechaber. He translates it as the customs duty. So basically, you know how they have sun pass on the toll roads in Florida? So that's a private company that pays the government a certain amount every year, and they collect the fees and they keep them. That's how it works. I don't know how it works in other states, but that's how it works here. They pay the government a fee. They also maintain the roads, but they pay the government a certain amount, and they get to keep all of those fees. So we're talking about a similar situation. The Jew is buying the right to collect a customs fee. You want to cross this bridge, you have to pay. Now, the king can't be bothered managing that bridge and every other bridge in the country. So he subcontracted. He sells out that bridge to private people, and they pay him a certain fee, an annual fee, and they get to keep all the income from the customs of that bridge. Similar to Sun Pass and many other things that we have today. So, mutter. So what does he do? He hires a non-Jew to collect for him on Shabbos. Otherwise, all those duties, all those taxes are just wasted.
Who hires the king?
No. The Jew, who is the contractor, subcontracts Shabbos out to a non-Jew.
He gets a certain payment for that.
Oh, so there's two options.
So you do a star, no?
There's two options that he can do with this non-Jew. Option number one is he tells the non-Jew, you collect, and from every 100, you give me 10. Or vice versa. Whatever, there's a fixed amount.
Oh, okay.
You get a percentage, I get a percentage. No, you're going to do it for Shabbos. I'll do it there during the week, you do it for Shabbos.
Why is that not schar?
Schar Shabbos?
Why is that not making money off of one street?
Yeah.
Your percentage
You're getting
goes
that.
off.
You're getting 10.
You're asking about Schar Shabbos? Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
But why in this case we're not saying that you have to be blah blah, like you hire like a day before, a day after?
We'll get to that. You're asking about Schar Shabbos.
You said it's hard to avoid. You have to.
We'll get to it. The Kitzer, another option is that you tell him, I am selling you Shabbos for a fixed fee. You get to keep everything that comes in on Shabbos. You pay me $100. Those are your two options. What you're not allowed to do is tell him, I'm paying you per hour. I'm giving you $10 an hour, and I get all the income. Because then he's a regular day worker. That's not allowed.
Really both. I mean, the first two that I brought really are the same thing. I mean, the same problem that I see. You're making money off of Shabbat. You're
Actually-
telling him Rock Shabbat.
Actually,
you're
the
getting $100.
The first one, I.
no. Actually, the second one has no problem with Shabbos at all.
Right.
The first one is much more
Selling on
complicated.
Shabbos for a fee.
And the first one is much more
Making
complicated.
money off of Shabbos.
No,
Not
You're
making
making
money.
you're not
on
making,
Shabbos.
you're not making money on Shabbos.
This guy is,
No,
meaning
you're
if no
not
one
making money on
wants-
Shabbos.
Even if it's a
Well,
percentage?
You're not getting a percentage.
Well,
on
the
second
percentage is
option.
more complicated, which we'll get to in a minute. In the case where you sell the entire Shabbos, it's not yours anymore. So you're not getting schar from Shabbos.
Pesach.
So
You
you're
sold him
selling
the entire Shabbos.
Yeah, but
It's
you're
yours.
giving him, you're taking money for him you sold your business for $100.
It's not my business. It's the
You're getting
It's
a
the
sense
king's.
from
It's
that.
the king's.
You're selling
It's
your
the king's
invoice.
business. You understand? If it would be your bridge and it still belongs to you, and therefore when you sell it, you're getting schar on Shabbos from something that belongs to you, that's schar Shabbos. When you sell the entire thing, it's like I own all 7 days, right? And now I don't own it on Shabbos at all. I sold it all off. It's not mine. That's it. So it belongs to the guy. That's not schar Shabbos.
So according to this, my understanding, so if a person have a store in a mall and you have a goyish worker the whole week, but he doesn't pay by the hour, every day give him $100. So on Shabbos, you're also going to get $100 a day. Not by the hour.
Paying by the day and the hour is the same thing. There's no difference.
But over here said if
A worker,
if you take
as
a
opposed to
worker
a Kablan, I just want to
Gives you
explain.
money.
A worker as opposed to a Kablan, whether it's by the day or by the hour or by the month or by the year, is still a worker. Like it means if he has to do all the work, he doesn't have a specific thing that he has to do and then he's finished. He has to do it those hours, no matter how you make the
You have a
payment.
different
Is a
worker
string.
just for Shabbos.
Okay.
A goyish worker on just for Shabbos. The
Okay.
same on the bridge. You say like you're taking your goy, and you say I'm gonna pay you $100 for, and all the income is coming to me. So I'm taking a goy. You're gonna work on
If
Shabbos.
you sell
I'm paying you 100, and all income is mine.
But
That's
there
not
you own
allowed.
the store.
No, it's
and-
not allowed
and
in
you're
either
not selling
case.
it on Shabbos.
It's not allowed.
You're
Wait.
not-
It's not allowed in either case.
You're
What
not
you
selling
asking me
your
to
Shabbos
do?
You just say on the bridges.
I just said it's
You're
not
not
allowed
selling
on the
Shabbos.
bridge. I said it's not allowed on the bridge. I said what's not allowed on the bridge is to tell the guy you're working for me and all the income comes to me. That's what's not allowed.
No, you said like I give you 100.
So he's giving you $100.
He's giving you 100. He's
So
taking
you-
all of it.
When you collect, you get to keep a certain percentage and I get to keep the rest of the percentage. That is what is allowed.
You said percentage more complicated.
Yeah.
No, it's Schar Shabbos is more complicated. He's not your worker because that's a Kablan. A Kablan means that he has a certain job and he does whatever he wants and he benefits from it.
This issue of Marisain, and people know that.
Marasign is a Shiloh. We're going to get to that right now.
I still have an issue with option number one.
Yeah. Percentage? Is that
The
percentage?
percentage,
Yeah,
why-
I don't
how,
understand.
if he's gonna get 10 on, he's still making money on Shabbos off this copy.
You're just paying him with a percentage.
Who said I can't make money off a Kablan on Shabbos? Who said I can't make money off a Kablan? Why can't I make money off a Kablan? When a guy works for me by Kablanus,
Yeah.
I might make money off him.
Yeah.
Let's say the case we were talking about before. He's sewing clothes for me, whenever he wants, right? But I have at the end of Shabbos, he brings me 2 suits.
Right, I understand.
I pay him a certain amount, and that's it. Those suits are mine. I can sell them. I mean, it's great.
Here you're specifying that it's gonna be on Shabbos.
That's a problem. Specifying is a
But it
problem.
is.
That's a problem. We're going to discuss that.
So the person,
We're going to discuss that. I mean, I will discuss it right now, actually.
if I
We'll discuss it right now. The point is that over here, there's 2 components. There's a hefsid Meruba component. That if we don't let you have the goy do this, you're going to lose a lot of money. And it's not that you're going to not gain money. There's a difference between not gaining money and losing money. So in the case that we had in Reishman Gimel, where you have these ovens and you have these bathhouses and whatever, and renting them out, not renting them out, those were all cases where you're not going to gain money because you're not going to be able to rent them out, whatever those cases were. Over here, that custom the minute he crosses the bridge, by the law of the land, he owes it to you. Let's say it's $10 or $1, whatever it is, $1. Crossing the bridge, he owes you that dollar. If you don't have the guy there collecting it, that dollar that belongs to you is gone. And in the course of Shabbos, however many, tens, 20s, hundreds of dollars, they're gone. So that's a hefsed meruba. That's a big financial loss. That's issue number one. Issue number two is that we're afraid, because it's such a big financial loss, we're afraid the Jew might not stand by the Nisayan and might end up doing it himself.
Can you factor in goodwill as well? So, for example, if
what does goodwill have to do with it?
Right. So goodwill
is leave the tolls open. That's what Governor Scott did during Irma.
There's something called goodwill when you're evaluating a business, and that could affect the other 5-6 days of the week. So let's say that you have a reputation for being a business that's sloppy on Shabbos. In this situation, if the toll collectors, then people are going to say, don't use that bridge. So
what are you talking about? They're sloppy, I don't have to pay? I'm coming every day.
Not that they're not paying, but they are paying, but because it's not being managed properly. It will affect you. Is that a hefsed meruba? That it could affect your business the other days of the week from a reputation standpoint. That's goodwill.
Schwach. Hefsed meruba is hefsed meruba. Hard financial loss, not soft financial loss.
Because the king will take any money anyway, so he will lose money. That's why he can work on Shabbat then, because he was afraid.
That's also true. He already paid the king. Question.
From what Rav said, you're allowed to make money off of your contract. Let's say I have a contracting company, whatever, a house fixing company, and all my workers are goyim, and I'm hired by a goy to fix the house. So can I tell my workers who are working the Kablanus, this job, my friends are going to get paid each $5,000 to finish it in a month, and let them go. Let them do whatever they want to do, whatever they want to do.
Yeah, that's.
If you have an arrangement for them to work with Kablanus for you, and it's not on your property, why not? I mean, you might have a Ma'asayin issue if their trucks have your name on it, whatever. You have to work that out. Work out the Ma'asayin issue.
Oh, so let's say I hire a third company. I'm the
yeah. Why not?
I hire my guy Vinny. I say, Vinny, get your guys, finish this house. Tell me when you're done, so I'll collect the check and I'll give you your time.
Why not? It's Kablanus, and you didn't tell them to do it on Shabbos. There's no Ma'asayin, no problem.
You're allowed to put
using your equipment, your truck, or whatever it is, and there's signs on it. And everyone knows
your equipment is a problem. Your equipment is a problem.
Even your van with a sign on it?
So
your van with a sign is also my sign problem.
So,
but even your equipment is a problem. We're going to see later.
So subcontract.
Subcontracting, exactly. It has to be a subcontractor. Yes, have his own stuff.
You're allowed to set the example of the bridge. You set up machines to collect Shabbos for you.
Not that.
If you can have a guy do it, how much more so a machine?
Automatic machines.
How much more so? For sure. If even a guy could do it, a guy can't be your shliach. Machine is allowed to be your shliach. Shvi says kalim. Your kalim are allowed to work for you on Shabbos. In general, your stuff, your utensils, your machines are allowed to work for you on Shabbos.
Supervised glory.
You know what I'm saying? If you have computers set up, they're mining bitcoins in China. They're working. You're not doing anything. They're allowed.
So you have a robot, AI.
Yeah.
Shabbos. Can you feed the robot? I mean, I guess, I don't know. They don't allow Shabbos. There's no really. They go and making the decision. Is the machine making it?
I mean, the only issue is Marasign. That's the only issue. Only issue is Marasign.
With a robot doing malacha?
Yeah.
So the guy can supervise
the Amazon things or the Google things that it's a.
You can't say it on Shabbos.
Huh?
I'm saying if you program it before Shabbos, and it's
turn on
doing.
my lights at 6 p.m.
It's only Marasign. Lights, Moshe says it's not in Marasign because everybody does it. But in terms of other things,
drones deliver your packages. Amazon can be delivering packages and drones. Can they be delivered on Shabbos?
Well, Amazon is doing it, not you.
You can get deliveries on Shabbos, you say.
As you can't tell them to do it on Shabbos. They do it on their own.
So the guy can supervise that on Shabbat, the machine.
That's really a separate thing.
You couldn't say, hey Siri, it's dark.
No.
Or something.
No. Oh, you mean because it's only a remez? It's only a remez, and Siri has to figure it out. It's a ratio. You're definitely causing it to do it, and that's your intention too. That's your intention.
You're causing a good to do it also. It's fine.
No, because the guy is not a psikresha. The guy is an independent thinker. He might be stupid enough. He's not gonna. And even when it is, even when he does it, it's him doing it. Whereas the machine is you. You understand? The machine is you. It's like you're shooting an arrow. Okay.
Last week I asked you about with the time zone. Okay, with the, if you're flying from LA on Friday to the Far East and you're leaving Moshe Shabbos, you're allowed to?
If you're flying from LA on Friday
To the Far East.
to the Far
If you come
East,
from Friday, you're leaving at Moshe Shabbos.
How long is the flight?
So you have times that you
just skip Shabbos and go in that direction.
You are from Johnson Airport? I'm sure it works.
Yeah, when you fly to the Far East, you have to go to.
You're allowed to fly on a plane, but we know it's going to be Shabbos.
That sounds like a ship.
You took off, it's
That's
not
what I said
Shabbos,
last
it's
time,
11,
yeah,
it's not Shabbos, but in between.
I think there is an isser to be mafkia Shabbos.
There's a lot of different.
I think there is an isser
There's
to
a lot of different Hilchos
actively
Shabbos you can do on a plane.
get out of Shabbos. Besides the question of when you're in the air, maybe it's Shabbos. I think there is an isser to get out of keeping, to skip a Shabbos. I think
So
there
What he's
is.
saying is you'll never see darkness going in
I'm
that
sorry,
direction.
not stam to be left here Shabbos. I'm sorry, someone has to go there for whatever the purpose.
Oh, okay.
Is there an issue to board a boat on Friday? You gotta fly the same thing.
It's complicated. It's
Boarding
complicated.
a vessel, and the boat and the plane.
But Rebbe, the question really is, you're never getting into darkness going in that direction.
It's too complicated for me.
So you're never actually flying on Shabbos.
It's too
You're
complicated for
not
me.
in darkness at all.
I think it's apparent.
I'd rather not get into it right now. Too complicated.
Unless they force you to be some part of the plane.
You can rent it out to the goy for all of the Shabboses. And he'll keep the profit for himself. That's the second option we mentioned. And we're not choshesh that he's going to say he's doing it for Yisrael. This is the question of Maras Ayin. Why don't we say it's Maras Ayin when, after all, everybody knows that this bridge belongs to the Jew? It doesn't really belong to the Jew, but the collection of this bridge belongs to the Jew. In a case of loss like this, they were not choshesh. Meaning to say, it is Maras Ayin. It's not that it's not Maras Ayin. It is Maras Ayin. But because of the great financial loss, they said, okay, it's Maras Ayin. Not the end of the world. Somebody asked me a shayla this week, which I didn't give them a heter for because I didn't. But maybe there's makam lahater based on this case. They're in violation of the code of the city, and they have to build a fence. And if they don't build it by a certain date, they're going to be fined. And the contractor said they have to build every day nonstop. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to finish it on time. So this is Maras Ayin, and maybe there's makam lahat here in a case of hefsed meruba, depending on the amount of the fine. Right? It's Kablanus. All these people work for Kablanus, and some even say there's no Maras Ayin because everybody knows it's for Kablanus. But that aside, there's the fact that, how are you? Sure. I should remember it. I always have to call somebody because I never actually remember it. Let me see if I wrote it down last time. I think it's like the four corners and then.
Right, the question, it's the top two in the left. But is it the top right? And then three? I'm close. Sorry, Joe. I can't, huh?
How do you know you're
Because I did it, someone guided me the first time.
I never wrote it down.
Because the alarm is different, or the combination is different. YouTube, we don't have it.
I never wrote it down. I'm sorry.
All right.
I always call Chanan and he guides me. So,
No.
Chanan, yeah, call him. I'll help you. I didn't give him a heter, but maybe there's a place to be matter based on this. Let's get back in.
If the person rents house to go, to a boat.
Yeah.
And he moves out on the future. Not his house buys now.
Everybody knows it's
One more time. He rents his house out to the guy.
Yeah, when they're building the fence in Shabbos.
Oh, no.
Not practical.
It's not practical because the whole thing is Maris Ayin. You understand? So to do a trick to get out of Maris Ayin doesn't help because it's still Maris Ayin.
Wait, you'd be able to do that, it's just not practical. It has to get done in such a short amount of time.
Well, to actually make it that it shouldn't be Maris Ayin, you have to move out of the house. So what's the point? I mean, I don't think it's happening. I think it's happening.
It would work. If he can go away for a month and he'd rent it out to somebody for a month, he needs it to be done by the end of the month. In the month of June, it needs to be done. He'll go away to Switzerland and he'll rent it out in Airbnb.
But renting is not owning it.
No, he's not.
Violation is not violating.
But renting is not owning it per se, no?
No, you don't have to own the house.
No.
So the acre is the person has to be living in that property for one to not get affected by Maris Ayin, like or the opposite, yeah.
No one's gonna rent out your house.
Yeah.
No one's gonna rent out your
It's a
house.
fence.
No, it's a fence. I mean, in this case.
I don't know. Okay. Okay, V'sol Mamun al Matbeh is a different case. Let's go to the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe is going to explain, and I have to address the Schar Shabbos issue, which I never did. Yisrael HaKoyin HaMechas, a Jew who purchases the right to collect a customs duty. This is Yud Beis in the Alter Rebbe. I.e., he explains in note 48, the government charged a fee for bringing certain articles into the country and sold the right to collect that fee to a private individual, in this instance, a Jew. Also, the Kablanus b'Shabbos, the Jew himself cannot collect the duty on Shabbos. Now, this is something important that Muhammad didn't spell out. Alter Rebbe spells it out. Afilu haviyah dvar marchol shenem muktzah dvar la'achila kan shuv metecha ha'tchum v'udavar she'em achshash shemen al-karayim ha'mechuber ha'yishem ha'nitzah. So you're standing there. The Jew wants to stand there himself, and he's going to collect the duty himself, and he's going to only take things that are not muktzah. I didn't know they're not muktzah. So they're food, let's say they're food items, and he knows that they were not trapped today, because if a goy catches a fish on Shabbos, it's muktzah, or whatever. And he knows that it wasn't picked today. It's like, it's not a fresh apple, it's a dried apple, whatever. So it's not muktzah. So what's the problem? Why can't I take, I'll take the mechas, I'll take 1 out of every 10 dried apples, 1 out of every 10 salted fish. It's not muktzah. What am I doing? No, can't do it. Why? He can't take it himself. Your own private affairs are forbidden. This is like a transaction. Collecting a duty is like a transaction. It's like a business deal. That's not allowed. There's no question about that. Like we're going to see later. Ella, rather, what do you do? You hire a Gentile bekablanus. What does it mean bekablanus? Contracting. How do you do that? You tell him, when you collect 100 dinars, I'm going to give you a certain amount of them. So that is allowed. You cannot hire out the goy for Shabbos to do the work for him. If he's a schir yoim, he's your messenger. He's not like your shliach. He's working for himself in order to increase his own schar. Every job that he gets, he's getting more. He's getting a percentage of that job. So he's doing it for himself.
It's just a kablan for Shabbos.
Kablan for Shabbos only, correct. Which he addresses right now. Even though the Jew is specifically telling him to do it on Shabbos, this is not going to be considered Shavuos. Listen to this. So the first heter, which is actually a pretty simple heter, I was saying before, but Hefsed Meruba, that's coming up. Even before that, Alter says a simple heter. Simple heter is collecting the meches is only a shvus. It's only a transaction. Maybe it involves muktzah, fine, but that's also only the Rabbanan. So telling a goy to do a derabanan is called a shvus to shvus. It's a double shvus, which some allow in the case of a mitzvah and in a case of a financial loss. Sounds good, no? Now the truth is that some are strict by a financial loss. If it's not a mitzvah, over here it's not a regular financial loss. It's a dvar mitzvah. We see in your Yardea that to have Jewish money be taken by non-Jews is considered a mitzvah, or to prevent that. It's not just a financial loss. It's Jewish money ending up in non-Jewish hands, preventing that as a mitzvah. So the kids are shvus to shvus. That's heter number one. Heter number two, is loy. Melacha gemura, even if it's a type of a meches that you have to do a complete melacha, for example, you have to write. That's just the way it is. You have to write a receipt or whatever it is. You're still allowed to tell him to do it on Shabbos Kablanus. A person is very nervous about his money. If you don't allow him to do it, then he might do it himself. And then he may forget and write. Therefore, we allow him to do the Isser Milanach, which is B'Nabbanak, they should be able to exceed so they shouldn't come to writing, which is Asman HaTorah. Okay, we still have an issue, address the Schar Shabbos issue, but let's go first a little bit further. Similarly, you're allowed to rent it out to the goy to accept on Shabbos whatever it is, a lot or a little. And he pays the Jew a certain fixed amount. Then he's for sure working for himself. He's not an agent of the Jew at all. And then when he rents it to the goy, so too, when he rents it out to him Kablanus, there is no marasayin. A person watching my things is schiyah. If he should makom hefsid gadol, goes on marasayin. In the case of a great financial loss, they did not make exam marasayin. Even if sometimes it's a small loss, depending on the day, sometimes there's more money coming in, sometimes less. It's just generally not collecting on Shabbos is a great financial loss. They didn't differentiate and say, okay, in the January it's a big financial loss. In August it's small. You can only do it in January and August. No, they said this situation in general is a big financial loss. We're going to allow it. They completely permitted this Maras Ayin. In any case that there's going to be a big financial loss generally.
So this can we apply to any other stores that the person wants to be open on Shabbos because they're afraid it's going to lose the customers?
First of all, losing a customer is not a financial loss. Losing a customer is a lack of gain. Manias harevach.
You still have to pay the rent. Losing,
no, you're not losing. You're not losing. You're paying the rent. That's fine, but you're not losing. You work 6 days.
Basically, if you don't pay, you lose.
No, you work 6 days and you pay the rent. Why do you? You're not losing from not working on Shabbos. You're just not making more money.
Why is this different than
And the meches, the money, once the guy crosses the bridge, belongs to you. By law, he owes you $1. You understand? So that money, if he keeps it, is your money going to the guy.
Yeah, but let's say you close the bridge and let them find a different way.
You're not allowed to close the bridge. You think the king is going to let you close the bridge? Get out of here. He's taking away the...
Anyway, the king gets his money regardless who's passing on the bridge.
The king doesn't want people in his country who can't cross from the bridge to get to their city. What does that mean? What kind of king is that? He wants the bridges open. He also wants money from the bridges.
Like
He wants them open.
Well, that's not happening.
Well, you think the government wants that? The government will not let Suntas close the expressway because they're not in the mood of collecting fees. That doesn't work that way. You want the right to collect fees. That's fine, but you have to keep it working.
Pay straight fee to the king anyway. So regardless how many people will pass, he's still going to pay set amounts of money every year.
He's not just worried about the money, he's worried about the...
Talking about the money that belongs to the Jew from every person that crosses. That money, if we don't let the Jew collect it, if we don't let the Jew get the non-Jew to collect it, that money, which is his money, is a loss.
Okay, so what if I do if I want to close the bridge?
You're not allowed to close the bridge. Not allowed to close the bridge.
How would he pay a year in advance for the king?
He pays the right to collect from the bridge. He doesn't own the right to close the bridge. He doesn't own the bridge. He just owns the right to collect from the bridge. He doesn't own the bridge. That's not a question.
It's like in the mall. You don't know how to close it at the mall.
You can't close your store. Right?
Okay, that's a separate thing. There, at least you own your store. But here, you don't own the bridge.
Shabbos is a free pass.
And Shabbos is a free pass. No, it's not a free pass. You're only allowed to do it by Kablanus. You can't do it by Schir. That's another issue. In the case you're talking about keeping a store open, your workers are generally Schir.
Rabbi.
You have a worker.
No, but I can make it with the
I have solution.
guys that can come on Shabbos. Listen, he's going to keep 10% of every income to come.
I have solution.
Okay,
Rabbi.
but that's still Marasayan.
Rabbi.
That's still Marasayan.
Which is also my time.
But that's a financial loss, and this is not.
Rabbi, I have solution. Every day we'll instead $1, $1.15, and this cover Shabbat, free Shabbat. That's it.
Okay. Tell them.
And that's it.
Tell them.
And it's open for you, Shabbat. Welcome.
When you rent it out to the Gentile for Shabbos, you don't have to do it b'havla with the other days. It's not like a merchatz, where you cannot rent it out for Shabbos alone. Because otherwise you're getting paid for Shabbos. When you rent out a car, for example, you own a car rental, you cannot rent to a goy for Shabbos only, because he's paying you for Shabbos. Right? You can rent for Friday, you can rent for Saturday, because Saturday goes to Saturday night, but you can't rent for Shabbos only. Same with hotel rooms, we discussed it. That's called Schar Shabbos.
But anyway, he's going to pick up a car just before Shabbos.
Right, I'm saying, Lemaisa, it's always going to include some time before, some time after. That's the heter. But in theory, you can't do it for Shabbos only, because you're getting benefit from Shabbos. But that's different. Why? Over there, he owns it on Shabbos. When the goy pays him for the merchas, which he rented on Shabbos, he's getting money from his merchas Shabbos. He can't do here. He sold it before Shabbos, and he sold it all. He said, listen, I own the bridge or the rights to the customs of the bridge for 7 days. I'm taking Shabbos, I'm selling it all. It's yours, finished. You're paying me for it now. Friday, I'm getting paid for it. Now it belongs to you. Understand? So I'm not getting benefit from Shabbos. I'm getting benefit from something I sold. And it happens to be that I sold Shabbos, but I sold it. I don't have it now.
So wait, I cannot sell the inventory of the store to the guy. And Shabbos, sell what you want. You want to sell, whatever you sell is yours.
Sell the inventory of the store to the guy.
Or I'm selling the store, whatever, for Shabbos.
Sell the inventory of the store to the guy. And what? I don't understand what you're saying.
And if you work on Shabbos, he sold his stuff, not my stuff.
Yeah, that's totally allowed. I mean, Marasan is another issue. But if it belongs to him, and
sometimes you have to have the store open on Shabbos.
Well, that's still Marasan. Still Marasan. You're not getting out of Marasan. But in a Hanami, as far as the actual Schir Yom, is not a Schir Yom. If it belongs to him, and he gets the benefit.
A Jew rent from the goy car. So the Jew is rented for 1 month. He's religious, he doesn't drive on Shabbat.
Yeah.
He loses money. He can gift the car for the goy.
To a different goy for Shabbos? Yeah, he just can't do it for Shabbos only. He has to do it a little bit before, a little bit after.
Maybe Friday and
It should be a little bit b'havla'ah, together with other days, yes.
Depends what car, if it's your regular,
Yeah, right? Weekend.
As long as it doesn't squeeze the cross, it's fine.
Yes. The tire.
Yaakov was asking, in the case of the mechas, isn't that somewhat different than selling your store for a day, since the rented property belongs to the original goy, no matter how many sublets exist? Is that correct? I mean, selling your store for a day, I don't know what selling your store for a day means. What does that mean?
For Shabbat.
I think it comes down to having a shutah. He gets all the money in the Shabbos.
Okay, that's a shutah. That's allowed.
Like this store make $100 a day. You will tell him on Shabbat he will give you $100, and all the profit he will do for him.
If you have a shutuf and the shutuf gets the income from Shabbos, b'vakasha.
Only if it's shutaf, but not shutaf. Just go for like to sell him the store for 1 day.
For 1 day?
Yeah.
Shutaf for 1 day, I never heard of. Shutaf for every Shabbat you can have.
Every Shabbat.
He is your shutaf, and he owns the store for Shabbat.
For Shabbat.
B'vakasha.
Every Shabbat I give him $100 wherever he make. He give me $100. Whatever he make it for him.
I'm not saying every Shabbat. I'm saying he owns your store every Shabbat. He becomes your partner. He pays you X amount. He owns 1/7 of your business or more. He could own more. He could own half your business. But Shabbat is a day that belongs completely to him. That's 100% fine.
There's no money sign.
If he's an actual partner, no. People have partners. People have non-Jewish partners. Well, yeah. I mean, if it's a regular partner, they'll know. If it's a trick and he's not really a partner and he's your manager and that's already not so simple. But if it's a regular partner, presumably people know.
It's meaning if he's coming in the week time, then it's hard time he's working day Shabbat.
No, if he's a real partner, even if he works on during the week, it's no problem. Partners work.
But how you working with Marit Ein is, let's say you actually have a Goyish partner.
Yeah.
Okay? But the name is like more like a Jewish name, and you have a mezuzah also. So how you gonna escape from Marit Ein?
I don't know if the name in and of itself is an issue. If he's a real partner, if he's a real partner, I don't know if the name is an issue in and of itself. Because a real partner, people usually find out, people hear, people know. But if it is, then you can just change the name. No big deal.
By kosher, you cannot open Shabbat. No shutaf, goy, nobody.
It's like a store.
It's a kosher. Anything is a kosher, you should.
I think you're gonna send back your shop.
Yeah. The Kitzer, we continue and we say, I'm not sure if we're finished. Not like a mechas, Shabbos, when he rented it out to the goy, and Shabbos, he sold it completely. There is no schar Shabbos at all. The goy did not give him schar at all. It belongs to him completely on Shabbos. It's like I know that somebody is coming with schar on Shabbos, right? I sell it to the goy before Shabbos. And that way, when it comes, the guy will get it for himself. I know there's schayra coming on Shabbos, and I don't want to have to deal with it. So I tell the guy, listen, I have this merchandise coming on Shabbos. I'm selling it to you now. Comes Shabbos, it's yours. So the guy can go and get it on Shabbos. Why not? I sold it to him before Shabbos. It's his merchandise.
What's the big deal if you're getting on Shabbos anyway? You're not going to use it until after Shabbos.
No, I'm talking about the goy is getting it. The goy is keeping it. And even though Lamaisa, he's getting it on Shabbos, as long as I sold it to him before Shabbos, there is no schar Shabbos.
So he can open
because I did my transaction with him before Shabbos. And once Shabbos comes in, it belongs to him completely.
So you can open your store waiting for the merchandise to come.
No, I'm not talking about your store. I'm talking about it's coming in a ship. A shipment is coming.
In the street?
A shipment is coming to the docks, to the Miami port, the port of Miami. And he's going to get it. And I pre-sold it to him before Shabbos. Yeah. So it's his stuff. It's not a chiddush. It's obvious I'm allowed to do that. The point is that here too, when you sell the meches 100% before Shabbos, so it belongs to the guy now. It's his.
It's one issue, Rabbi. Who said they're going to give it to him if it's not the person he is?
No, you have a star, you have a document.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, question.
Is there a difference between leasing and subleasing? Yeah, this is Dan. Is there a difference between leasing and subleasing in this case? I just noticed in the English, in the translation of the Alter Rebbe, he was using that.
Well, what's your question? What are you recommending? What are you suggesting the difference should be?
I don't know. It just caught my mind when I saw these different words. I mean, leasing is, I guess subleasing is leasing something from that you leased from somebody else, where I guess leasing is you own it and you're leasing it. I guess that's the difference.
I don't think there's a difference.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think there's a difference, because the fact is, whether you're the original owner or you're the renter, but you're subleasing it, so it's still going through you. So if you're giving him Shabbos, it has to be together with another day. Otherwise, you're benefiting from Shabbos. Yes.
The commercial transaction, the transaction is finalized when you pay for it, when you receive it.
You're talking about as far as schar Shabbos is concerned?
In general. when you receive finalize when you receive.
So al pi Torah, between Jews, it's not finalized until it's received. Payment, money is not koina. Midaraisa it is, but Rabbanon it's not a whole story. A whole story. Midarabanon is you're not koina until they actually get it. But between a Jew and a goy, it's more complicated. In a Jew and a goy, it's more complicated. It could be that even money is koina. Could be, but I'm not 100% sure. What's the question?
Finalize the transaction Shabbos. By having the goods delivered Shabbos.
No, there are ways to complete the transaction even between Jews without receiving the goods. There are ways. Money alone is not, but you could do a kinyan sudar, you could pick up a handkerchief, you could acquire together with land, like symbolically a little bit of land. There are ways to do it. So you have one of those ways. I think with a goy you don't need that. I think with a goy payment is enough. I don't think you have to actually get the thing. But even if not, there are other ways to do it.
I study on Thursday Mishnayot, and they said if the Jew is given money and he did not receive the other one, you're right. But if he changes his mind, it's a sin.
Yes. Mishabara.
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay. So if you already received money and you back out, even though you can, it's a sin, and you have to the person can get a curse. Misha Parmidar Mabel, who you're from, Misha Eina Oimed B'Diburi, or something like that.
Okay.
Pretty
contract and things like that is just less. Sell money or something.
I don't know. Too complicated. Every situation is different. I don't know. Okay, so because we never got to the question of why it's not Schar Shabbos in the first case of the Meches. Again, there were two cases of how the goy is allowed to manage the customs for you. The second case, when he buys the whole thing for Shabbos, we said it's simple. He bought it; it belongs to him. So even though it is Shabbos that he bought, but now that he bought it, it's his. So that's it. On the other hand, when it comes to the fellow who's getting 90% or maybe 10% or whatever, he's getting a percentage. So why is that not Schar Shabbos?
Because he's a Kablan and you're allowed to make money on it.
He can give you the money from other money that you have income.
So here's what the Mishnah Berurah says. No, sorry, he doesn't say it. Okay, I thought the Mishnah Berurah said it, but now I'm not finding it inside. This is my understanding of why it's not Schar Shabbos. Maybe I'm wrong. But because he's giving you a percentage, so it's not a Shabbos matter. Schar Shabbos is if he's giving you something that's related to Shabbos. Meaning to say he's giving you the rent for Shabbos. So that's a Shabbos matter, right? But if he's giving you a percentage of the profits, which he happened to earn on Shabbos, that's not a Shabbos, it's not a Schar Shabbos. It's a Schar that happened to come in on Shabbos.
Yeah, but you're still making the money.
Hiring the Kablan for Shabbos, but Schirut. institute under the name of Kablan.
You're not hiring the Kablan for Shabbos, because then he's not a Kablan. You're not hiring the Kablan at all. You're telling him, you are my Kablan, but the day that you are my Kablan for is Shabbos.
But how's that? What's meaning you're telling me?
What it means is that you're telling him to do it on Shabbos, and that's why it's a shvus to shvus. It is a shvus to shvus. We're not taking, you're not allowed to tell a Kablan to do work for you on Shabbos. But we have another heter, it's a shvus to shvus, or it's a hefsid meruba, and we're afraid you're going to do it anyway, a whole thing. But I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on the schar Shabbos. Why is it not schar Shabbos? So my understanding of it is that.
Wait, 1 second. When you're saying you're using Kablan, you should tell the Kablan that you're Kablan for Shabbos, like in the bridge, even though it's not specific for Shabbos. So when are you going to be a Kablan? But you're telling today's Friday, tomorrow, you don't say the word Shabbos, like obviously you're using it for Shabbos.
If I tell a Kablan to do work for me on Shabbos, he's still a Kablan, because he's still paid by the job. He's not paid by the hour or by the day. If I have somebody working on my house, they are contractors. I'm not paying them by the hour or by the day. I'm paying them when they finish the job. But I say, listen here, I want to move in on Sunday. Can you just finish it up? Just finish it up. I know it's Shabbos. Just finish it up, please. So that's a Kablan that I'm telling to do work on Shabbos. Yes?
Okay, well, what about the different
That's not allowed. That's with Dabra Dover. You're telling him to do work on Shabbos. That's not allowed. But it's only allowed by the case of the bridge because it's a shvus to shvus. That's one explanation.
It's belongs to king, Rabbi. It belongs to the king, Rabbi.
It's a shvus to shvus. It's a shvus to shvus is one explanation. Because he's not really doing any malacha, it's just muktzah, it's just business, and it's a case of a financial loss, or because it's if we don't let you get the goy to do it, you might do it yourself, which is much worse. So the Chacham allowed you to do something which is normally not allowed. Okay? It's still not Tzcher Yoim, it's still Kablanus, but you can't tell a Kablan to do it. In this case, there's a heter because of the financial loss. Okay? But my question is, what about the schar Shabbos? So the truth is, the Mishnah Berurah does bring down, some say that for a big financial loss, you could be making on the schar Shabbos too, which is a big chiddush. Because when you go back to all those cases of, renting out a place on Shabbos, why is that not a big financial loss?
But big, to one guy, something can be big, to the other one, it's nothing.
Okay, that's another question. How do we define big? But the kids are. But my understanding of this is something else. Is that because it's not a Shabbos payment, it's a payment for a percentage of income. It's not related to. It happens to come on Shabbos. It's income. Exactly. It's income that actually came on Shabbos, but it's not related to Shabbos. It just happened to come on Shabbos. Schar Shabbos is if it's related to Shabbos. I'm renting to you the house for Shabbos, the car for Shabbos. Understand? Or it's work for it's payment for the work I did on Shabbos. This is not payment for work. This is a portion of income, portion of Kablanus. You understand? It's not payment for hours. So this is exactly like the case of the vending machines. It's exactly like the vending machines. Yeah, but what about Schar Shabbos? Your machines are allowed to do work for you. But what about the fact that you're making money from a Shabbos transaction? I'm saying, but why isn't it Schar Shabbos?
Why is it not?
Yeah.
I never thought it was.
It's not human.
It's a machlekes. But I saw in the Dirshu, I believe it's Rav Shlomo Zalman, who says it's not Schar Shabbos because it's a transaction. He's buying the item. He's not. It's not Shabbos. He's not giving you schar for Shabbos. He's giving you schar for the item. That goes well exactly with this word here. They're giving you a percentage of the mechas. They're not paying you for Shabbos. It's a chiddush, but I think that's a pshat. All right, we have to stop for Ma'ariv. We're going to continue Mitzvah tomorrow with Reish Mem Hey 245. We're not finishing Reish Mem Daled. There are more examples, but they're more or less the same idea, just repeated in different cases. Mining salt, making money, all kinds of different examples of the same idea. But if you're welcome to learn them yourself, but we're going to stop here.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Have a good night, everybody.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Pleasure.